Hello, my name is Dio Jeremy Quinn, and suppose you're cooking tonight and decide to put one-third of your meal directly into the trash bin. Nobody does this willingly. Nevertheless, the United Nations Environmental Program states that annually the world loses nearly one-third of all produced food. The organization also notes in its Food Waste Index report of 2021 that people usually waste a lot of food, or more than they realize. This matter concerns all of us, since every member of the audience buys, stores, or deals with food regularly. No matter whether you are currently living with your family, alone, or with others, your habits influence not only your budget, but also the environment around you. To explore this matter better, I studied information provided by the United Nations, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, Harvard University, and REFED, a nonprofit organization invested in food waste issues. My main idea today is to convince you that food waste is problematic and that everyone can solve this issue by using small and easy steps. First, I will tell you why food waste is a crucial matter. Then, I will offer some easy solutions. And finally, I will present how our lives will change if we take these steps. To find out what we should do, we need to learn why this issue is worth addressing. Wasting food causes various negative effects because it affects the environment greatly. It costs money and is related to hunger. It's enough to think about situations when you see food waste. Probably you didn't eat a carton of berries that went bad. Maybe you threw leftover food that was in the fridge a little bit too long. Or maybe you noticed restaurants throwing away leftover dishes at the end of their days, or working days. Although it seems like something unimportant, it creates a huge challenge. First, the Environmental Protection Agency states that food waste constitutes one of the biggest types of materials being transferred to landfills. The landfills produce huge amounts of methane, which eventually becomes more dangerous in the Earth's environment than even carbon dioxide. As the United Nations Environmental Program 2021 emphasizes, households are responsible for the largest portion of global food waste, showing that individual behavior plays a major role in this issue. Second, the loss of food leads to significant expenses. REFED reports that in 2022, a typical U.S. family spends hundreds of dollars on unnecessary purchases. Finally, food waste is related to hunger as millions of Americans suffer from food insecurity. Despite that, tons of food are simply being wasted every day. This challenge touches everyone directly because every person who has ever thrown out spoiled food from the fridge knows what food waste means. Those who purchase unnecessary items spend money that otherwise could remain in their pocket. After identifying the issues, we need to consider what we can do about it. Every person can reduce food waste through meal planning, proper storage, and donating additional foods when possible. First, meal planning prevents overbuying since buyers know what many products they will need to purchase. It allows for saving money and avoiding food waste since the buyer plans what they need to cook for the coming days or weeks. Next, food should be prepared appropriately to last longer. It implies certain products require storing conditions to prevent their fast spoilage, like putting berries in the freezer so they last more than a few weeks. Finally, additional foods that are still edible can be donated to people who really need it. These solutions work because they directly address the root cause of food waste. Most food is wasted because people overbuy, forget what they already have, or store food incorrectly. Meal planning reduces overbuying, proper storage extends food life, and donations ensure edible food is not discarded. By targeting these behaviors, these strategies reduce waste at its source. And these solutions have already proven to work in real life, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency 2023. Households that plan meals and understand food labels significantly reduce the amount of food they throw away. Additionally, REFED 2022 reports that food donation programs have successfully redirected millions of meals to people in need. These real-world examples show how reducing food waste is not just theoretical. It's already happening successfully. One might say that reducing food waste requires lots of effort and time. Preparing a list for the supermarket, trust me, will not take that long. And it helps reduce time in the long run since you don't have to think about food that's being thrown out at the end of the week. Another possible objection can refer to the inefficiency of this solution. Nevertheless, if people reduce waste at least a little at a time, we can solve this problem. Knowing the solution to the problem lets us imagine our future under the conditions when we do use it, or vice versa. The scenario will worsen if current practices and activities are continued. Landfills will be full of waste, and emissions of dangerous gases will keep increasing. While families who continue wasting money on food that go into the trash. And meanwhile, the millions who are struggling with hunger will receive little assistance since tons of food that are still edible are being wasted every day. Consider the following picture. Food food waste becomes more common, while prices of grocery stores increase. Families spend more money buying products that they're going to throw away at the end of the week, and the environment issue becomes even greater, while millions who are struggling with hunger are deprived of meals. On the contrary, in the case that food waste becomes less common, families look at their fridges and see very little because they properly planned out for the week. People pay attention to the consumption of products they purchase, and grocery stores as well as restaurants start donating extra food rather than disposing of it. As stated by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, 2020, reducing food waste is essential for protecting the environment as well as building healthy communities due to its availability of food among vulnerable people. In my speech, I argued that issues of food waste are very important since it negatively affects the environment, leads to waste of money, and is a source of global hunger. And then I provided you with information that the problems associated with food waste can be solved quite quickly and easily. Finally, I invited you to think about two alternatives and visualize what might happen if certain decisions are made. From now on, I encourage you to take at least one step towards the elimination of food waste. Before your next shopping trip, write a list of the meals that you will make for the week and check your fridge to not buy anything you don't need. Make a promise to yourself not to throw away any leftover foods that are still good, and if possible, participate in any food donation programs locally. Every time you're going to discard some kind of food, pause for a second and think, is this just trash, or can it be something more? Alright, thank you.